There she is. There
Hello.
you are. Hi.
Hi.
Can you hear me okay?
I can.
Okay. How are you, Maryann?
Good.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. My heart goes out to you. That is a very challenging position to be in right now.
yes, it is.
Yes, and it's been going on for weeks now, right? Or months even.
Yeah, since I think the 9th of April.
Wow.
We had that week after Easter. There was like a 4-day week, and then March break
Yeah.
happened to be in April, and then the next week was our official online time.
Wow. That is hats off. So, of course, you're exhausted. I can totally understand. Our kids have gone back to 4 days of school, and they're older. They do their school and their work, on their own. I really would have a hard time managing that if they were younger. So, hats off. That's a lot of work. But you're doing it. Good for you.
Turn my heater off so I can still hear you.
Okay. How is your body feeling today?
My legs are a little sore. We just went in the pool.
Okay.
And the first one I did, I think they were both called Rainbow.
Yeah, they're the Friday class. Yeah.
One that was more like arm central.
Okay.
I do have tendonitis in my rotator cuff.
Oh,
so
okay.
That one was like almost too much arm stuff.
Okay.
I did yesterday, I really enjoyed. It was a lot more leg stuff, hip stuff.
Okay. Great.
Really good. And it still had arm stuff, but it wasn't a lot.
As much. Yeah. Yeah. So, do you have tendonitis in your shoulders because which shoulder? Is it your right?
My right one, yeah.
You're right. And do you have that because you had an injury to your shoulder?
I have it because of this macrame.
Interesting. Okay. Okay. Wow. All right.
Pulling, right? I'm just constantly pulling.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so you haven't, just so I understand, like you have, because I have tendonitis in my left shoulder. So I totally, and I have from acute injury that I had years and years ago. It's been well over 15, almost, no, sorry, not 15, 12 years ago. So I totally get what you're feeling. Is it comfortable? Like I have no problems when I'm weight bearing. How does that feel for you?
It's fine.
Yeah, so being on all fours.
It's more like either this or like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Or any kind of, sometimes depending on how you're putting your arms.
Yeah, like when it was like I can't remember what the poses are. I'm still trying to remember them.
No, sure.
Where you're like kind of half bent in a squat kind of, and your arms are like that.
Chair pose, yeah.
Yeah, so there was some times where I just had to like rest my arms for half.
Oh yeah, yeah, totally cool.
Just bring my arms down.
Cool, awesome, okay. Is there anything else that I need to know in terms of your body, any injuries or anything that we should be wary of at all? Low back pain, shoulder, neck issues, anything like that? No? Okay, good, all right. So what I was thinking for our sessions is I'm going to obviously have my mat here and I might demonstrate some poses. I'm happy to do the poses if you feel that would, and I will do the poses. There are going to be some poses I'm just going to do naturally. I'm a kinesthetic learner and teacher sometimes, so sometimes for me it's easier to demonstrate and show. Would you say you're more of a kinesthetic learner or read things?
Especially as I don't quite know the titles of the moves.
Yeah. That's fine. That's fine. And I'll always I might throw in a Sanskrit word in there, but I'll always speak the English words so that you have that in your tool house. Because most yoga studios will incorporate the two. Like they might throw in some, some Sanskrit, but they really do try to stick with the English words. So don't worry about that. And it'll be one of those things where one day you're gonna be like, hey, I know exactly what that is. I got that in my little list of words that I got, and I know what that is. So that's all good. So I thought we would start today with some breath work and some grounding work. And we're going to move through kind of like a slow flow. And we're going to just kind of play it out today and see how it goes. And then we're going to just kind of explore when we meet each other and see if, maybe, one day you're like, yeah, I need a little bit more of that, or, oh, I'd like a little bit more of that. So like, I'm really, we're just going to kind of go with the flow and see how it feels. And as we kind of work together and start seeing how maybe we can dibble dabble in some other things, we'll take it as it comes. So there's no pressure. I'm a slow flow, gentle type of yoga instructor. I don't teach Ashtanga yoga, which is really repetitive movements and very fast paced. It's not usually a style I teach. So we're just going to kind of go with the flow. Yeah. It's funny. I have more clients that prefer that, I think, than this really fast paced, intense kind of practice because, we get a lot of intensity in our day as it is. So I thought we would find ourselves in a comfortable spot. And I like to begin, you might notice I've got my circles behind me, and the circles behind me are representative of the chakra system. So I'm going to kind of give you some information, a little bit about some things as we go through, because I think it's relevant. You take what you're interested in and you can leave the rest, whatever it is. But I always like to start my practice kind of grounding, and that's the first chakra. And the chakras are like a subtle energy system. You can't see them. You rip your body open, you're not going to see all these wheels kind of along the spine, but we have this subtle energy. We have this like life force within us, right? And so in the yoga tradition, we talk about Ida and Pingala, and we're not going to get into too much detail, but the Ida and Pingala, they intersect. And they intersect along the spine, and at each of the intersections, you've got the chakras. So the first chakra is really grounding, and it's really based on really trying to connect and kind of settle into the earth and kind of bring ourselves back home, if you will. And I love this one because really it's that foundation of where we start everything in our life, right? If you think of a house that doesn't have a strong foundation, it's not going to be able to be built correctly. It'll tilt, it'll fall. So if our foundation isn't built really strong, it's really hard to build on top of that. So I thought we would sit down in a comfortable position. I think I mentioned to you in our conversation that I like to sit up propped up a little bit. That's me. Only you're sitting on something, that's great, because it just relieves a little bit of the hip flexors. So let's just go ahead and kind of move that flesh over and kind of connect down into our sits bones. And our sits bones are just really that grounding force that's going to bring us down, kind of connect those bones down to the earth. So just kind of find yourself there. You can go ahead and close your eyes if you're comfortable. If you're not comfortable closing yours, it's absolutely fine. You could just slightly gaze forward. Well, we're just going to take a few moments here just to settle in, maybe even noticing our sits bones kind of grounding down to the earth. Taking a moment to just bring ourselves to the mat. We've had a busy day. We've had lots going on, lots of thoughts running through our mind. And now is our time to give ourselves permission to be here, to be in this space, to be together, to allow ourselves the opportunity for self-care. Maybe you start to notice growing a little taller through the spine. So maybe we start to lift our crown so that our tailbone stays down towards the ground, really grounding into the earth. We find this gentle lift. We kind of feel like we've got this plumb line pulling us from the crown of our head upwards. Maybe allow your shoulders to soften just a little. Maybe even noticing how your hands feel, maybe resting on your lap. And let's just begin to take some natural inhales and exhales. So breathing in through the nose and breathing out through the nose. Maybe inviting a little more release through the shoulders, through the eyelids, the forehead. Really just noticing these things without any judgment or any expectation on how it should be. Just honor what is right now. In yoga, we often set an intention. And an intention is called a sankalpa. And it's a little different than a goal. As a goal, we see something physically that we want to attain or materially we want to attain, but this is really different. A sankalpa or intention is something just for us, for our insides, for our for kind of everything that we encompass. And given that today we're starting with just grounding down to the earth, I always use my mantra or my sankalpa. Mantra is where we kind of repeat an I am statement, but it can also be an intention or a sankalpa. So for today, maybe if you'd like, you can choose a different one if you'd like. That's absolutely no problem. But maybe today we set our intention of I am grounded. And that really just sets the tone. We are grounded to the earth. We're supported by the earth. And that no matter what happens, the earth is always there to absorb us. Think of the earth as a big sponge. And the earth is there to mother us in a way that allows us to release whatever it is we need to let go of. And it will take everything that you need to let go of and just soak it in and take it from you and let you be on your way. So let's take a moment just to repeat to ourselves, I am grounded. Begin to notice as you silently repeat that to yourself, how that makes your body feel. Maybe you feel something, maybe you don't, and that is absolutely fine. Now I'd like us to just keep that I am statement, that I am grounded, kind of just right at the forefront of our thoughts. Now let's introduce our 3-part yogic breath. So placing a hand on our tummy, you can stack your hands so that one hand is resting on top of the tummy and the other one is right below the hand. And from here, we're going to take our inhale and draw our breath down towards our tummy. And you may start to feel your tummy fill your hand. And then expand that breath into the ribs. So find that second part being the rib area, breathe in there. And then bring that final part of that breath into the chest. And then as you exhale, release the chest. Allow the ribs to drop in and pull the belly in. So we're going to do a few of those, so don't be worried. We'll take some time with this. So breathe a little bit into the belly, a little bit into the ribs, a little bit into the heart. And then exhale from the heart, from the ribs, and from the belly. Breathe into the belly, the ribs, and the heart. And release from the heart, the ribs, and the belly. Just go ahead and repeat that a few more times at your own perfect pace. Maybe you can imagine this breath as like a wave in the ocean. It starts to swell as you're breathing in, and the waves kind of move into each other as it lowers down, as you empty out, as you exhale. Let's take one more round. Let's just slowly release our hands. Let them set just on our thighs. Let's just take a moment to notice our body, notice how we're feeling. Maybe notice if you feel a little more settled in. Maybe not, that's okay too. And when you're ready, you can start to blink your eyes open. Just invite the room into your vision. And just gently, slowly open your eyes. I feel like we're coming to it with a new perspective, a little bit maybe of a calmer space. And let's meet with our hands at heart center in Anjali Mudra. And this symbol is really a symbol of us all being one. So we are all one. You are I and I am you. We are all together. Our light shines nice and bright. And as we take the next breath, we're going to sweep our arms just maybe out to the side, maybe coming halfway. And then exhale, release. I was going to go overhead, but then I realized maybe that's not going to work with your shoulders. So breathe in. You can go as far as feels comfortable for you. And then just release out and just kind of release the arms. And breathe in. And breathe out. Wonderful. And let's do that one more time. Breathe in. And breathe out. Wonderful. And last one. Breathe in. And breathe out. Wonderful. And let's go ahead and take ourselves off our bolster or blanket, and we're going to come down to the floor. So I'm going to just direct you there, and then we'll move a little bit together. And I'm going to just take a moment to take notice of your body. So find yourself down on the floor, lying down with your feet facing forward and your back just down on the ground. And we're just going to take a moment here to just settle our body in. Feet are down, and rest the arms just at the sides here. And let's just go ahead and we're going to move through a few rounds, probably about 5 rounds of some bridge poses. And that's just going to warm up and just invite a little bit of articulation through the spine. So here you want to energize through your heels. You want to start here with that pelvic region nice and neutral. So you've got that natural little curve in the low back. Feet are facing forward, hips, knees, and ankles are all nicely aligned. We're going to go ahead and take our inhale, and as we inhale, start to press it through the heels, start to energize through the glutes, and open up through the front body here. And what you want to search for is that nice long line from shoulder to knee. And then exhale, go ahead and release down. Let your sacrum just rest down onto the floor. And just go ahead and repeat that a few times. So energize through your heels, let your forearms rest down the floor, and then slowly exhale, come down. Good. Now, as you're inhaling, lifting up and pressing into the floor, energize through the glutes. Keep your knees, hips, and ankles nicely aligned there. Good. Maybe imagine you're holding this imaginary ball between the knees. So your knees are not coming together, but you're really keeping them nice and engaged, engaging through the adductors, so the inner thigh muscles, And as you're engaging through your glutes, I want you to think of engagement, but not squeezing for dear life here. We're not trying to really squeeze in through the glutes. We want to engage them. We want to keep them active. Good. Go ahead and repeat that. Beautiful. Let the body weight rest in through the chest. Good. And let's do one more like that. And fantastic. Well done. When you're ready, go ahead and take your knees and draw them in towards your heart. And just bring the hands right in front of the knees. Yep, that's it. Beautiful. And I want you to see if you can shimmy your low back, that sacrum, just a little bit side to side so you can create a little bit of space in the low back here. Yeah, wonderful. Nice. And just settle your shoulders down and relax the upper body. And feel free to go ahead and rock your body side to side, thinking about spreading out your low back, massaging the spine. Maybe even noticing the back of the shoulders, the back of the head, getting a little bit of a massage. Wonderful. And here, I want you to think of your 4 or 5-year-old self. I always use this as an example because when I was 4 or 5, I just had so much fun. Just allow your body kind of just to be free here. There's really no expectation. Just allow yourself to just explore and have some fun with it. Let your body relax. Wonderful. Let's do that one more time. And then slowly, when you're ready, come right back through center. So go ahead and place one hand on your right knee, one hand on your left knee. Keep those knees stuck in towards your heart. And we're just going to do some kind of oppositional opening. So we're going to draw one hand on the knee, one hand on the right knee, one hand on the left, and just kind of open up through the hips here, as if you're drawing a heart. So as you're bringing the knees in towards your heart, you're opening up into that opposite direction, just drawing a heart, bringing the knees towards center, just kind of lubricating the hip joints here. And when we move our joints, we increase the synovial fluid in the joints. So we really invite this opportunity to lubricate the joints. So we always want to just invite that movement into our body as gently as we can, not forcing. Just notice if there's any sticking points, and that's okay. Great. Let's do a few more like that, and then we're going to reverse our direction. And then when you're ready, you bring your knees back together. And then this time we're going to reverse the direction. So move the knees away, open up in the opposite way. Yep, there you go. Good. And just imagine you're creating this opposite shape of a heart here, moving through the joint. And again, when we do this type of movement, we might notice one side feels a little different. One side of the movement feels different than the other. Totally normal. Totally part of what we have in our body. And this is why we do things like yoga, to really invite that sense of balance into our body. Good. And then when you're ready, let's go ahead and do one more. Great. And then the next time you bring your knees together, we'll just keep them at your heart space. Good. Great. And then go ahead and release your left leg. Keep your right knee in towards your chest. Extend that left leg if you can without touching the wall. Good. And as you're here, I want you just to allow that left hip to just open up. And you're going to draw that right knee in towards the chest. Nope, you're perfect exactly the way you are. So just let the leg kind of just relax there. And that's just going to release the hip flexors here. Good. And from here, we're going to go ahead and rest our right hand on the front of our knee. And you can go ahead and extend your left arm long, maybe out to a T shape, so right about shoulder height. And we're just going to gently bring that right knee over towards the right side without moving into that left hip. Yep, there you go. Good, that's it. Again, just kind of keeping it there. We're going to give that inner thigh a little stretch. Wonderful. And you're using that left arm just to counterbalance here. So you want to keep that left hip glued to the floor. So there's really no rotation through the lumbar area. So that might mean, I saw you just a great adjustment there. Maybe we're not going to go down as far. Good. Let's take a couple of nice breaths here. Release the inner thigh, relax the chest, relax the upper body. Wonderful. And then when you're ready, come on back through center. We're going to take that left hand, set it on the right knee, and we're going to go into a little supine twist here. We're going to give the IT band a little stretch. So extend the right arm now out to a strong T. Yep. And then guide that right foot, that right knee, all the way past your midline. You're going to go into a rotation here. So my right leg is here. My right arm is extended. And I'm just going to gently guide that right leg over my midline, keeping my shoulders kind of glued down to the ground. So what I'm not doing is I'm not rotating with it. I'm keeping my shoulders glued, just allowing the IT band, maybe even a little bit of the glutes to get a nice little stretch here. And just take a few breaths here. Just noticing the body connecting down to the mat. Try to breathe in and release out. You can even continue with your 3-part yogic breath. So breathing into the belly, the ribs, and the heart. And then breathing out from the heart, the ribs, and the belly. Wonderful. And then whenever you're ready, go ahead and slowly unwind your body coming back through center. And this time we're going to slide the left foot, bending into the left knee, crossing the right foot over the left. And here we're just going to allow for another little hip opener here. And maybe this is enough for today. If not, you can always interlace the fingers and draw them behind the left knee. Now, if you feel like this is too much pressure in the shoulders, if you've got a yoga block, you can always rest that bottom foot, that left foot on a yoga block. So this is another way that I do this. Sometimes people have like really tight hips. I might just encourage them to place one foot on it, maybe on the medium size, and then just cross. And this just might be enough for today. If it does feel okay to draw the thigh in, that's great, but it doesn't have to be. And maybe just allow that right leg to open up.
Is this right here, like this?
Yep, if that feels okay on your shoulders, yep.
I feel it right there in the leg. Feels good.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's a great stretch. So this is going to stretch your glutes. This is going to give your, even I find sometimes I even get a little low back stretch in there. I don't know. It just feels really, really good there. Good. Just take a moment or two there. Great. Now when you're ready, go ahead and release that. Bring that left foot down to the floor. You might want to move that block over because you're probably not going to need it. Good. And then bring both of your feet as wide as your mat and just let your knees kind of fall in and out. It's kind of windshield wiping your knees in and out. Good. It's kind of flowing with the breath here. Wonderful. Great. We'll do one more on either side. And then come back through center. Bring both knees in towards your chest. Good. And just draw your knees in. Place your hands in. Just give yourself a little hug there. Wonderful. And this time we're going to extend the right leg long. Keep the left knee in towards your heart. Just let that right hip just open up. There you go. I hope your head's not right near your bed. Just be careful for your head. It's right there. All right, wonderful. And just go ahead and just draw that left knee in. Give that glute a nice little stretch. Wonderful. If you want to, you can extend the right arm out into that kind of half T shape. So the arm kind of outstretches about shoulder height. And then take the left hand and just guide the left knee over to the left side, giving that inner thigh a little stretch. Wonderful. Just take a couple of breaths there. Great. And then whenever you're ready, you can draw that left knee back in towards center. And this time we're going to go into that supine twist on the other side. So take the right hand over to the left knee, extend that left arm out to that strong T, and then go ahead into your rotation here. So you can peel that left hip right up and over. If it feels comfortable, you can literally go into that twist. Good. Does that feel okay?
It does. I feel like I am not very flexible.
You're not what?
Very flexible.
That is totally fine. So I always distinguish, there's a very difference between pain and sensation, right? We can live with sensation. We don't want to live with pain. So if you're in this and you're feeling some sensation, then you are in the perfect space for you right now. So that's really good. And that's where, I want you to go. If it feels painful or if you go in too deep, you just want to hold back. So that's totally good. Wonderful. And then slowly make your way back in through center. Fantastic. Okay, bring that right knee in towards your heart. Good. And then go ahead and set that right foot down to the floor. You're going to cross your left ankle over your right knee. And it's that figure four stretch. Good. And one side might feel very different than the other. So that's, again, we're just going to take some notice of that information. That's all it is. And then if you want to draw your right thigh in towards your hand, towards your heart, you can. Good. And just relax your right foot. Just let your foot just kind of chill there. There you go.
Wow, that changed the muscle.
Yeah. Yeah. So I like to sometimes when I'm in these positions, just kind of offer a little bit of guidance if you want to. And if it feels okay, you can take that left elbow and just nudge that left leg if you've got some room for it. And it doesn't have to happen if this feels like it's enough. No, you keep that hand there. You're kind of almost, and then take that left elbow and just put it into your foot a little bit. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So everyone's dimensions are a little different. I have just enough space to get that elbow into my leg. So sometimes if everybody's dimensions are a little different, if you can't quite get there, that's fine. Good. Nice job, Maryann. And then when you're ready, go ahead and set your foot down and then just unwind your left from your right and go back into those windshield wipers. Just want to loosen up that feeling in the legs. Yeah. Wonderful.
Wait, are my feet supposed to be down for this?
Yeah, that felt so fine. It's okay. Again, we're just gonna go with the flow. If that's what was calling to you, then I want you to do that.
It didn't feel as good, so I was like, I'm doing something different. I don't know what.
Yeah. Wonderful. And then when you're ready, let's go ahead and we're gonna roll on to let's do our left side. So you're facing the camera. And stack your hips and your knees. So this, Maryann, is an exercise, a stretch that I frequently do for my tendonitis. So this is really, it may feel a little less range of motion on your side, on your right side. My right side, I have more space than my left side. My left side's the one I have. But this is a really wonderful way to stretch out the front of the body. So first we'll start with our ankles, knees, and hips nicely aligned. Yeah. And you're going to pull your knees up a little bit so that they kind of come towards your belly button. Yeah, good. So take your bottom left arm and you're going to cradle your head down onto the floor so that this is going to keep your neck and the rest of your spine nicely aligned. Take your left arm, outstretch it in front of you. So right at that shoulder height. So just go ahead, right on the floor. So we're going to be right here, just lying down. And here, what we're going to do is we're going to inhale, reach that left arm a little forward, and then sweep up towards the sky. And then as we exhale, we're just going to rotate our upper part of our body. Keep your head resting in your hand and just open up towards that left side. So hips, ankles, and knees are all aligned. Sorry, your right side, my left. And you're just rotating through the upper part of the body. Good. And you can turn your gaze, if that feels comfortable, towards that right side. Yeah. Good. Inhale, bring that arm all the way up to the sky. Good. Exhale, release it down to the floor. Good. Beautiful. So inhale, it feels good, huh? If you were with me right now, I'd be giving you this really lovely stretch that I do with this one. It's so nice. So inhale up to the sky. Exhale, just twist. So you're really just twisting that upper part of your spine. We call that the thoracic spine. And then inhale, you'll bring it back through center. And then exhale, just release down. And let's do like 2 more like that. And on the, well, actually, let's do 3. And on the third one, we're just going to hang out there for a couple of breaths. That looks so great, Maryann. So I am living proof that this is one of those exercises that when you do it regularly, it really helps to just open up that body and will hopefully over time just give you a little bit of that comfort, that release in the shoulder. I definitely, this is one of those fundamental ones that I use regularly. So go ahead and on this one, just exhale, let your body just rest there. And take 2 to 3 breaths here. Just release through the front body. Wonderful. Just take your time, breathing in and releasing out. And then whenever you're ready, just slowly make your way back into center. And then rest that arm right in front of you. Right, good. So since we're in this lying position, we're gonna, so you said your legs were a little, so we're gonna give your quads a little stretch. So I like to do this actually lying down very frequently because it's really comfortable. So bringing that bottom leg long, actually, sorry, you're gonna bring it out longer, but you're gonna have a little bend in the knee. It's almost like you're kind of offering a little balance. We're gonna roll that top arm back. Go ahead and reach for that top foot. Yeah, so when you're here, try to see if you can draw that knee a little down. So bring it down so that, there you go, there you go. So what you're doing here is you're just keeping that knee, hip, and ankle nicely aligned. And I want you to see if you can energize through that top leg. Kind of reach that knee as if you're kind of pulling the knee down towards the base of your mat. Keep your abdominals drawn in so that when you're here, you're not arching through that low back. You want to keep your abs pulled in to keep that low back protected. And we're just going to focus on drawing that quadricep all the way down. This is a wonderful hip opener as well as a really nice quad stretch. And whether you bring your heel towards your glutes really doesn't matter. So just open up. Wonderful. And then go ahead and release that top leg and just let it out and just relax it for a second. Great. Let's take ourselves onto our all fours position. So bringing ourselves into our quadruped or tabletop position. Bring the hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. And that's kind of really important so that we've got that nice knee, that all of our joints are nicely stacked so that we are the most comfortable we can be. So I like to starfish my hands, and that just really invites that nice strong base. So think of your tailbone to crown as that line of energy I talked to you about earlier, about the chakras, that subtle energy. We want to keep the head kind of stacked onto the rest of the spine. There you go. Now I want you to put a little pressure into your hands, and I want you to fill the back of your body here so you're not winging through the shoulders. So pull your sternum in a little bit up towards the sky. There you go. Good. Lift your head up a little bit, stack it a little bit more. There you go. Good. Bring your knees maybe an inch or two closer to your, yep, perfect. Good. So now we've got some really nice energy in the spine. We've got some good support through the shoulders. We're not winging, so our sternum is not down, but we're really energized through the shoulders here. Resting the tops of the feet. Now from here, we're going to begin our cat-cow. When we do cat-cow, we typically start with the tailbone, And we start to articulate from tailbone. On the inhale, we'll start to tilt the pelvis so that we're arching the low back, moving through each of the vertebrae, rolling the shoulder blades back, lifting up through the sternum. We're not cocking the head up to the sky. We're just letting the head kind of fall along with the rest of the spine. As you exhale, begin with your tailbone. Start to tuck the tail under, pull the belly in towards the spine, energize through the hands. Let the gaze fall between the knees. Again, beginning with your tailbone, start to articulate through. So you're starting to create that arch in the low back, working through each of the vertebrae. We're just taking it nice and steady and slow here, just for a few, and then we can pick up the pace a little bit if you want to. Exhale, start to round in through the spine, pull the belly in dynamically, really pull it in towards the spine, energize through the hands. A little engagement through the glutes there as well. And just continue here for a few more rounds. Good. Okay, so let the head, if it's comfortable for you, kind of drop down when you're coming into cat. So you're in cow now. So lift your gaze up. Yeah, good. Exhale, tuck your tail in, start to pull your belly in, round through the body, good. And then let your head kind of gaze down if that feels comfortable, down between your knees. Just let your head just kind of drop down. There you go.
In this position, the head goes down?
Yeah, so when you're in cat, you're arching, you're creating extension in the spine. So you're gonna arch the low back, tilt up towards the sky. So I've got this arch in my low back, my tailbone's reaching towards the sky. As I'm gonna come into cat, I'm gonna pull my spine, my tailbone down, and I'm gonna start to round like the cat's body. And my gaze is my head is literally just gonna relax down if that feels comfortable. Get a bit of a stretch in the back of the neck. And then you start to move from your tailbone all the way back up. Okay, so let's do that a few more times and see how that goes. Yeah, just let that head drop down. Let your neck relax. So inhale here, good. Exhale, pull the belly in, round this. There you go, Maryann. That's it. There you go. Good. That's great. Inhale. Good. Now, on your next exhale, pull the belly in. Let the gaze kind of tip round and through the spine. Energize through your hands. Good. And then as you're going to inhale, start to tilt the pelvis. And I want you to roll your shoulder blades slightly back and down. They're kind of, there you go. Good. That's it. In exhale, pull the belly in, tailbone, low back, mid back, upper back. There you go. And then inhale, tilt, and beautiful. But keep those shoulder blades rolled back as you come back into cow. There you go. And exhale, pull in. Good. And inhale. Rolling the shoulder blades, energizing through the back of the body. Good. Let's do one more. And just let your head kind of soften there. Release your jaw, release your face. Wonderful. And then inhale. Beautiful. And then come right back to your tabletop position. Good. So back to that neutral spine. Wonderful. Bring your big toes together and open your knees wide. And let's go into child's pose. So press your hips down towards your heels. Good. There you go. Good. Now, in child's pose here, there's a couple of different options you can do. So if this is new, this may feel a little tight, and you may not be able to quite come down to the floor, and that's absolutely fine. I often use my yoga block to kind of prepare, like let my forehead rest down if coming down to the floor feels like it's just too much. Or I stack my hands. There you go. Oh, you got it.
This is comfortable, yeah.
Yeah, this is great. Okay. So you can, does that feel okay in your shoulder though?
Mm-hmm.
It does? Okay, great. All right, wonderful. So let's take a few big breaths here. And now your breaths, I want you to focus on that breath coming in through the nose, down your spine, down to your tailbone. And take a few sighing breaths. So just sigh it out. Just let the day kind of go. Breathing in and then sigh it out. That's it. Just let it go. See if you can release the low back a little bit here. There you go. Just take your time. Slow that inhale. And then slow that exhale. Just sigh it out. Like a nice warm cup of tea on a cold Canadian day. Just warms your insides. Wonderful. Let's do that one more time. Beautiful. Then let's keep our arms extended and we're going to walk our hands over to the left side. But as you do so, I want you to try to keep your hips kind of stuck in space. So don't let your weight of your hips shift too much towards that side. So I want you to kind of just invite that lovely opening into the right side of the body. You can even take your right hand and maybe reach it maybe half an inch further forward. Now this time I want you to focus on breathing into the side of the body here. So we're looking to expand your ribs. In between your ribs, you've got all these intercostal muscles, which are really secondary breathing muscles. And they really, the more we can breathe into them, the more oxygen our body can take in. So the more we can just open up that side of the body, give our body a nice little stretch here. Beautiful. And then walk your hands back towards center. And then over to the other side. Nice. Again, one side might feel a little different, more range than the other. Just breathing into the left side of your ribs. And then whenever you're ready, make your way back towards center. Wonderful. Now from here, let's go ahead and shift onto our all fours. We're going to just do some downward dog. And so with our feet, we're going to curl our toes under. We're going to come into that all fours position, and we're going to take our hands and set them a little forward of our shoulders. So from here, we're going to curl our toes under, and I want you just to see, kind of feel the pads of your feet kind of resting down on the mat. And from here, you can bring your shoulders, your hands about shoulder distance apart. You're going to curl the toes under and start to lift through that sits bones area, pulling ourselves up towards the sky, energizing through the heel of the hand, focusing on the thumb and the pointed finger. As you're going to lift your sits bones up, I want you to think about lengthening the legs. So maybe our legs are not fully lengthened. We have to keep a little bend in the knee. That's absolutely fine. From here, I want you to see if you can open up the chest, draw the shoulder blades down away from your ears, and maybe bend into one foot, maybe your right or left, extend through the opposite, and then go ahead and switch sides. So you're just going to pedal the feet out. Good. Good. There's one and then the other. That's it. Beautiful. Well done. So breathe in, bend in one knee, let the opposite leg, and just hold one side there for a moment or two, just a breath or so. Good. And then go ahead and release the other leg. Great. Wonderful. How's that feeling, Maryann, on your shoulder? Is that okay?
It feels fine. I just keep forgetting to like bring them down.
It's okay. That's totally fine. We're just gonna, I'm always gonna remind you about that. So don't worry about it. Good. Good. And then let's go ahead and bring both heels down to the ground. Lift up through those sits bones. Keep going. No, stay where you are. Stay where you are. Good. And drop both heels down, just finding that downward dog. Good. Good. And then when you're ready, bring your knees back down to the floor. Good. Beautiful. Next, we're going to go into some spinal balance. So we're going to start in our all fours position. And from here, we're going to just start off with a little bit of, we'll kind of do one side first, our upper body, and then we'll do our lower body, and then we're going to combine the two together. So from your all fours position, knees are back to hip distance apart, heels, hands are underneath the shoulders, so that looks really good. And I want you just to kind of reach up with that right arm. And as you come into this position, just try to weigh in to the left hand and both knees. So if you find yourself shifting completely over to your right, go ahead and bring those hips and weigh into that left foot and that left hand. Just notice how this turns the abdominals on. And then go ahead and rest that right hand down at its original spot, and then go ahead and lift the left arm. And let's just do that a couple times. And as you're here, I want you to keep your abs pulled in. Your head, I want your head just to stack up a little bit more on top of your spine. There you go. Good. And go ahead and do this with one breath and one movement. So breathe in, maybe extending the arm out. Exhale, release, and then go ahead and do the other side. Breathe in and reach. Good. And lower back down. Wonderful. Let's do that one more time on either side. Nice, Maryann. Great. And then fantastic. Go ahead and rest into child's pose. Let your arms get a little rest there for a minute.
This one, right?
Yeah, that's it. Sorry. Yep. We'll become very good friends with child's pose. So don't you worry. All right, now let's go ahead and bring ourselves back into all fours. And now we're going to invite our legs to this. So this is a great way to strengthen the glutes and to strengthen the back of the body. So I love these positions because they strengthen our spine, which is really important. It also really strengthens our glutes, which sometimes is tough to do. So hands are shoulder distance apart. We're going to weigh into one knee. It doesn't really matter which leg you want to start with. And go ahead and extend that leg and just bring it to about hip height. I like to energize through my toes, but some people like to flex in through their heels, and I might cue you either or. Now from here, just notice how this affects your low back. See if you can draw in a little bit more to your core. Just hold this really engaged through the glutes. And then go ahead and set that knee down. And then weight into the two hands. And then go ahead and extend that opposite leg up. Staying long through the spine. There you go. Energizing through the glutes. Pressing your hands into the floor. So you've got that good engagement through the shoulders here. Great. And then go ahead and rest that left knee down. Or that other knee down. Let's go ahead and do that one more time. Just kind of flow here from one breath. Inhale, energize through the leg. Exhale, release it down to the floor. Inhale, reach long. Lengthen through the spine. This time I want you to think of, let's just actually do this set one more time. Think about as you're extending your leg, you're extending through the crown of your head. So you're creating this really nice long line. Good. Wonderful. And then whenever, let's finish up with that. If that makes you uneven, go ahead and do the other side too. Good. Go ahead and rest in our child's pose. Knees wide, big toes together. Rest your glutes, rest your upper body. Wonderful. Now, next, we're going to incorporate all of this. So we're going to go into spinal balance. So let's go ahead and take a breath. We're going to bring ourselves up into all fours. So now we're going to do a little oppositional work, which is great. So we're going to work through the upper body and the lower body. So starting back in that all fours position, let's start with our left hand and our right leg. So energizing through the hands, you're going to hold that so your shoulders are nice and supported. And I just mean like when you're here and you're energized. I want to see my hair. I got that good engagement through my shoulders. When I'm not, I'm like here, right? That doesn't feel very supportive in the shoulders. So when I say energized, I'm like, let's just press into the ground, and you can almost feel as if your shoulder blades start to flatten out on your ribs. So there's this like kind of really nice support there. So finding your way back into all fours, energizing through the hands. You've got that good support through the shoulders. And let's go ahead and extend our left hand, extend our right leg, keep the toes and the fingers on the floor, and then exhale, lift up. Good. Energizing through the core. Good. And then exhale, bring the hand and the foot down. And we're just going to do opposite side. So inhale, extend the right hand and the left leg. Exhale, lift up. And let's just hold here for a breath. And then exhale, release right hand, left knee. Good. Let's do that a few more times. And we'll just kind of flow here. So breathe in. Exhale, lift. Energize through the glutes. Reach through the arms. Good. And then release down. Good. Inhale, reach up. Good. And then exhale, release down. Fantastic. Keeping that core drawn in. So when we talk about the core and we talk about engaging through the core, we're not bracing the core. We're just inviting a little bit of activation here. Let's do one more on either side. Fantastic, Maryann. Well done. And then go ahead and rest in child's pose. Yeah, good. Nice job. That feel okay?
Mm-hmm. That one was definitely the challenging one.
Yeah, that's a great one. Sorry, what were you gonna say? That's okay. That's great.
Wobbly.
Hey, wibble wobble's good. Wonderful. When you're ready, we'll come up to a seated position. We're going to go ahead and if you have your blanket that you were sitting on, let's go ahead and we're going to sit on that for a moment. I have a bolster. I can do this on a bolster, but it's maybe a little too high. So we're going to go into butterfly pose. This is one of my favorites because we often are, and I don't know about you because you're so busy with the kids, but we are often in seated positions, working at computers, or just in this position where our hips are really kind of tight. So it's nice to be able to give our hips a nice opportunity to release a little bit. So butterfly is one of those foundational exercise stretches that poses I usually use on a daily for myself, but also in class. So go ahead and just extend the legs out first. And we're going to find what we call, this is staff pose. And just kind of find that staff pose. Just take a moment to energize through the spine, lengthen out through the spine. And then when you're ready, we'll just go ahead and breathe in. Maybe bring the hands maybe a little higher if they can. And then just exhale, release down. Just kind of let your hands fall wherever they land. Again, we never want to come to our yoga practice with this idea of forcing the body. So we're going to meet our body where it is today. So many injuries happen in yoga because people are pushing themselves and kind of following along with these Instagram pictures of what yoga looks, what we think yoga is supposed to look like, but in reality, that is not the case. Good. So just take a couple of breaths here and just notice if you can release the low back, release the shoulders. You can also get your hamstrings nice and stretched. So we did a little bit of the quads earlier. It's giving the back of the legs a nice stretch. And then whenever you're ready, slowly make your way back up towards center. And just imagine your vertebrae is like cans of tuna. You're stacking them all together. And then we're going to go ahead and slide our feet and bring the soles of our feet together. And this is called butterfly pose. Now, if this feels too much, you can draw your feet a little away from your pelvic region, or you could draw them in. It's really entirely up to you. And I like to basket weave my hands and then kind of create a little basket for my toes. Maybe you want to place your hands here if that feels better for you. It's entirely up to you. And just take a few moments here just to release down, release the hips. And maybe for today, this is really enough. If you've had a busy day doing a lot of walking forward and back, or maybe sitting, your hips might be really tight. So we're not going to force this. The hips, I should tell you, are a place that hold a lot of emotion and a lot of stress. So it's a place we want to be very delicate with. So we don't want to ever go into hip openers that are a little too intense. We just want to kind of ease ourselves into them really nice and comfortably.
I'm just kind of letting them like sit there. I'm not really.
Yeah, and if that feels like it's good, and that's if you're getting what you need out of that, that's probably where we need to be today. It's an area of the body I really am very sensitive to, so I'm just careful to not go too far. Wonderful. And then when you're ready, let's go ahead and we'll just bring the knees in and extend the legs, shake it out. Just kind of loosen them up a little bit. Even coming out of those hip openers can be really, and we'll do hip openers because of the line of work you have. You know what? Most people need hip opener work anyhow because we just live in a world where we're front and back. So it's always good to do that work anyhow, but definitely we'll be touching on that a little bit more as well during our sessions together. So let's go ahead and roll ourselves down on the floor. And we're going to bring our knees in towards our chest. And we're kind of nearing the end here. Just kind of bring ourselves down to the floor. And just taking this opportunity to maybe notice our body connecting down to the earth, to our mat. And that feels a little esoteric, a little foo-foo kind of information out there, but we really, when we ground into the earth, we really create this connection down. And that's why so oftentimes you'll hear people saying, yeah, I went for a walk in the forest and I really felt kind of just quiet. Well, you do a lot of that. So I know you were walking with the kids out and doing hikes and bringing them to the water. And that's all really grounding actions. Let's go ahead and rest our hands to the side and let's just extend the legs. So here we're going to come into candlestick pose. Candlestick pose is certainly for the end of the day a very restorative pose. Just allows our body to quiet down. Gets the blood kind of moving. And this is a form of an inversion. So in yoga, we definitely do inversions, and they don't only encompass headstands and shoulder stands, but this is a type of inversion. So anytime our head is kind of a little bit below our heart, we've created an inversion. And just settle your shoulders. If you're ever feeling a little uneasy before bed, even doing this pose, but then placing your legs up against a wall and then allowing the legs just to open is an incredible pose for a nighttime practice. And then when you're ready, you can go ahead and bend in through the knees, or we're going to go ahead and maybe bring our hands towards our shin, or if it feels accessible, you can hook your peace fingers onto your big toe. And we're just going to find happy baby here. And as you're coming to happy baby, we're bending into the knees so that the knees are kind of coming towards the underarm area, and we're flexing into the heels. So that looks great. See if you can open your knees, your feet a little more apart from each other. There you go. So even if you can go even further, there you go. Now just allowing those hips to open. And then if you want to, you can go into happy baby and rock yourself side to side, if that feels comfortable for you. Again, coming back to that 4 or 5-year-old self, just allow yourself to rock side to side. Wonderful. And when you're ready, you can come right back through center and then just release the toes and set the feet down to the floor if that feels okay. And then we can extend one foot to the right corner, our right foot to the right corner of our mat, and our left foot to the left corner. And maybe for today, we're opening our palms as a symbol of being open to giving and receiving energy. Or if we want to just hold on to the energy that we have right now, you can place one hand on your heart, one hand on your tummy, and just rest here for a moment as we come into Shavasana. Now, Shavasana is probably one of the hardest poses in the yoga repertoire of poses, of asanas. And it's hard because oftentimes we come to Shavasana and we start to get our to-do list out. But this pose is all about not doing. It is simply about being. So as you take the next couple of minutes here, allow yourself to simply rest in this space. Allow your body's roots to kind of inch their way into the earth. Allow your eyes to soften. Allow your throat to clear. Allow the day to simply melt away and get soaked up by the earth. Focusing on your breath as it comes into your body, energizing you with that life force. And allowing that exhale to be a representation of releasing any toxins that you do not need. Maybe that may be thoughts, maybe that may be something within the body that's not feeling good. Whatever it is for you. Before we reawaken, just simply begin to deepen your breath. Take a couple of big sighs out of the mouth. And when you're ready, you can start to move your fingers and move your toes. Just gently reawakening your body really slowly. Take your time here. Maybe if you want to, you can roll onto your favorite side, even if that means you're facing the back of your body's facing the camera. It's absolutely fine. Go ahead and roll onto your favorite side and just take about 4 or 5 breaths there. And just do so slowly. Just taking this opportunity to just be in this space. And then whenever you're ready, take your time. Just take your top arm and gently, ever so gently press yourself up and bring yourself up into a seated position. Just however you want to get there.
It's always so relaxing.
I know. That's the part. And let's meet an Anjali mudra. Let's gently bow our head towards our hands. Maybe take our thumbs and just direct them towards our sternum, towards our heart. Let's remind ourselves whenever we're feeling like we're kind of in this space where we need to ground ourselves down. Just remind ourselves we can always use our I am statement. I am grounded. It's always there for us to use on or off the mat. Let us close this practice with a deep cleansing breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Breathe in and exhale out. May your heart always stay warm, and may your smile always stay broad. May the light that shines in me honor the light that shines in you. Namaste.
That was me
Thank
thank
you, Maryann. Thank you.
That was me saying thank you. I was like speaking my energy.
I want you to speak your energy as much and as for however long you ever wanted to. That's what it's there for. So I'm so honored to have done this with you this evening. Thank you. It was truly my honor to be together with you, and thank you for trusting me with this. And from my heart to yours, as always, thank you so much. So you let me know how you feel. I want to hear from you. This is being recorded, so I'm going to send you the video so you have it. Why not? And if there's videos, I'm just going to send you some stuff that we have, and you can take it on if you want to. I did a very quiet, gentle practice this morning for my gentle yoga class, so maybe you'll enjoy that. And I'll send that over to you this evening.
Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna finish the other one out of the 3 you sent me, the first rainbow ones, and then I'm gonna do the other ones that you sent me.
Yeah. And you know, Maryann, sorry.
Mostly to get the wording to like really understand
Sure.
movements and that kind of thing.
And I promise you, Maryann, it's going to come. It's going to come. Don't worry too much about it, because you're hearing it. It might not register, and that just comes with repetition. It took me. I still get stumped. I'm like, huh? What's that called? I was like, I don't know what that's called. It's not like a whole new thing. So don't worry about it. It will come. But I'm going to send you some videos. And Rainbow's class is, I'll just send you those videos. And you, again, just go at your own speed. If you got to pause it and just kind of finish up a couple of poses, that's good. That's absolutely fine. Okay.
Awesome.
I also wanted to mention to you that I use a great app. It's free. I have the membership because they have courses on there and I really like them and I use them all the time. But Insight Timer, I don't know if you've ever heard of that. Oh, it is wonderful. So his whole premonition, the guy who started this, he started it with the idea of making meditation free and accessible for all. So there are thousands of meditations on there. So if you have a mobile phone, it's called Insight Timer, INSIGHT timer. Yep. It's got it's a singing bowl. You'll see a little like bowl as the symbol. And it is phenomenal. And honestly, you don't even have to purchase a membership because there's enough on there to last you several years. So,
got it.
Yeah, and I use that all the time. I use guided meditations on there. I often do 30-day meditations, but that's with the kind of like that longer package. But that's a great tool to start.
Okay. Thank you so much.
So let's text and you'll let me know what time works for you next week. If you want to keep this time, if you want to do another time, if you want to do two, you want to stick with one, it's whatever you want.
Same time, to be honest. The
same time? Cool. Yep, that works for me.
I'll just message you. It'll have to not be Monday or Wednesday because Ethan does karate those nights and I help him.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we can definitely do Thursday. And next Tuesday, typically I teach a class from 5:30 to 6:30, 4:30 to 5:30. But next Tuesday is Tristan's banquet at his hockey. So I'm not teaching Tuesday, but I'm teaching Monday because I have to go to his banquet to help out. But I can do
Thursday for sure.
I'm sorry?
Yes to Thursday.
Yes, guaranteed in the calendar. Okay.
Perfect.
Awesome. Wonderful, darling. Have a wonderful day. And if you want to occasionally do it on a Saturday, that's also fine if you want to, but you'll let me know. We'll kind of play it by ear.
Sounds good.
All right. Have a good night.
Thank you so much.
Bye.